now, and it looks like we are live. Okay, there's always a little bit of delay, but we are live here, and I'm just going to make sure that we both pop up here on the live video. Let me change the view, perhaps, so that we both show up and not just my face. There we go. Okay, we are both there. So happy Friday to those that are joining us live. If we haven't met, my name is Julie Hirschberg. I'm the owner and founder of Re+active. And this is one of my most favorite things to do is chat with other people who have worked with us, been through a program. And I'm so excited to introduce Andrea to you today because Andrea has been knocking my socks off with some of the things that she's been doing and sharing, and just like the continued growth that you've been having since you were with us at Re+active. So I know that a lot of people, even like yourself, Andrea, because you told me, you're like, I've watched YouTube videos of you, and these videos can be really helpful for other people who are going through things. They're really helpful for healthcare providers to hear your perspective and learn. I learn more from you than any article I could read. So I'm so thankful. I want to say that. Thank you for being here. And let's just like dive into your story. So if you could tell us a little bit about what was happening for you, your history before you came to Re+active.
Okay. Also, disclaimer, if I look away or close my eyes or don't move my eyes around, that's intentional. I'm not a robot and the screen is not frozen. So actually, yeah, I found you guys because one of my doctors, awesome doctor, really educated, I told him about PPPD and he's like, what is that? Can you send me an informational video? So I'm like listening to videos and I hear you talking like, oh, this video is good. I'll send this to him. And you go, our clinic in Los Angeles. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? So yeah, that's how I found you. So hopefully other people will too. So, okay, what was going on with me? Gee, how much time do we have? No. The important thing about this story is that it's only clear to me now. So this is like a 12-year saga and the pieces only really fell together like at the end of last year. While I was going through it, I didn't understand it. So the very, very brief summary is I took some medications that I had to take and they caused these rare side effects of basically eye movement problems, okay? But your eye like firing and processing is so interwoven into different parts of your brain that misfiring of, a decade took down kind of all these other systems in my brain. So it passes through these different lobes and my vestibular system and my sensory processing system were kind of collateral damage in this ongoing process. And so I developed PPPD. When I developed it, it actually was not even a diagnosis yet. So it's not surprising that nobody was able to catch it. So once I got the diagnosis of the eye movement problems, I was still dizzy, even though I'd stopped the medication. So I said, okay, like something's still happening. I eventually saw this really wonderful neuro-ophthalmologist. If anyone's in LA, he's now at UC Irvine, Dr. Patel, and he was the first one to diagnose me. He said, what do you call it? Visual vestibular mismatch. And I thought, well, that sounds right, because it feels like what I'm seeing and what I'm sensing are a split second apart. They're not happening at the same time. So that word, whatever that code was, made a lot of sense to me. So these 12 years, really 12 years. So the things that I lost in those 12 years, I stopped driving. I lost basically my ability to read things, use the computer. My computer screen is on black right now. Sorry, guys. I can't even, I used to be a dancer. I guess I am a dancer again. I stopped dancing for like 4 years. I was able to do very little. Couldn't even exercise, developed all these heart problems, developed insane amounts of anxiety. And to be fair, I had some anxiety to start with, but dizziness is a physical sign of anxiety. So if you are experiencing dizziness, your brain's going to pick up on that and go, oh my God, something's the matter. I'm going to fall. I'm sick. Right? Like that's going to happen no matter how aware you are that you're safe. So that was a problem. And just the more this goes on, it's not linear growth, it's exponential growth. Like the worse it gets, the worse it keeps getting. So when I started graduate school, I used my eyes a lot more, obviously, and that was just kind of the beginning of the end. And it got to the point where last semester I was doing my clinical placement at a placement site, and I couldn't drive there, so I basically kept Uber and Lyft in business, and I would sleep during my lunch break. There was one day that I was so sick, the bathroom was downstairs. I didn't go to the bathroom all day because I thought I was going to fall. And I would come home every day and I would either basically pass out for the night or throw up. So that was very unpleasant. I put this all together, this whole picture, figuring out, oh my gosh, it was these medications. One of these medications I was actually given for triple PD, and it ended up causing more eye problems, which a very lovely and gifted optometrist figured out for me. So yeah, but I was at the point where I basically thought, well, it's been 12 years. I clearly cannot change this. So I'm just going to keep, living my life and doing my thing, even though I am sick all of the time. So yeah, I got to that point and I came to the clinic basically thinking, okay, I'm going to do this program and everything's going to be fine. So that was a little like, I came under false pretenses. That was on me. At some point, Brittany was like, Brittany, the physical therapist, she was like, you're not going to get all better from 12 years in 6 weeks. We're going to jumpstart this and you're going to keep getting better. That was a bit of a revelation, because it's true. The progress I make now, again, is so much more and so much quicker. Yeah, so that's what was happening beforehand.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, first of all, like so much insight, and you talk like a neuroscientist. I love it. Like you've got all the brain pathways and
talk like an almost psychologist.
Yeah, no, I know that's part of your like background and training as a psychologist too. So I think it's pretty neat to have that like all come together. And here you're so right. Looking back, it often makes more sense than it did in the moment. I hear that a lot with 3PD too, as people kind of recall, oh, it was likely this, but I didn't know at the time, and so on, and then getting the diagnosis. And I'm so glad you found us too. I mean, that's one of the things that's like, I'm just going to keep doing videos even when I don't want to get up and get in front of a camera, because it's not necessarily my favorite thing to do. And
I'm going to send this to Dr. Patel because he changed my life.
Okay, great. Yeah, see, exactly. So that's great. And so you did 6 weeks with us, and Brittany was right, and you were right. I mean, a lot of people come in and they're like, I'm just going to be back to where I was 12 years ago in 6 weeks. I mean, and it is the start of a process. It's the start of a journey.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind of how modern medicine is set up. I mean, yes. Okay. Yes. Getting the diagnosis and figuring everything out was reassuring because I knew I wasn't losing my mind. But at the same time, I spent so much energy trying to figure it out that I did not spend a lot of energy trying to do something about it. So, but yes, modern medicine is very much, here's your diagnosis, here's the recommended treatment. If the recommended treatment doesn't work for you, right? So we're very much like, okay, all we have to do is figure it out and then we'll take the pill. Like, I think a really big thing that I learned is that that's not how it works. You have to, heal is a process. It's not an endpoint, right? You have to take a really active role in that. So sorry, go ahead.
Right. No, I feel like once again, here I am learning from you. Thank you. But you're so right. We do want a quick fix. And of course we would, because we're tired of this.
I mean, if there is a magic pill, I'll totally take it. I'm just pretty sure that there's not.
Right. And especially when it comes to the brain and neuroplasticity, like you really do need to rewire it. And it turns out there's not really a quick fix for that. So now, but you spent 6 weeks for us. I think you called it dizziness boot camp at one.
My
at one
husband
point.
called it dizzy camp because it is. You
Dizzy
go,
camp.
you know, you get active, you do arts and crafts, you learn things, you make friends, you cry, you laugh. It's dizzy camp.
It is dizzy camp. That like tickled me so much. I thought that was great. And so I'm wondering, like, what changes that you noticed after 6 weeks? Like what kind of things change for you?
Oh, all of the things. Okay, so yeah, even before coming, I listened to a lot of YouTube videos that are like, all you have to do is this thing. All you have to do is this thing. That's nonsense. And I really appreciate the candidness of being like, here's the things you can do, and here's the improvement you can see, but you need to see the steps along the way. You're not going to go from here to here. So like, I'll be honest, today's a really bad day for me because I started vision therapy and I am, you know, trying to cope with that. But that's okay. I'm not freaking out because it's just one day and I know that there are good days to be had. So, okay, what changed? That's like my last day, they asked me to do all these quantitative measures, like rate this thing and rate that thing. I'm like, oh, numbers are hard. Because for me, actually what changed the most is the quality of my experiences, like the quality of the moment to moment. Because once you, like I said, I came in thinking, I'm resigned to this feeling terrible all the time because that's my only option. Once you see that that's not true, that's not totally fixed, that there is room to feel better, that's such a load off, right? Because then you're not constantly worrying that the state you're in now is the state you will be in for the rest of eternity. Right? So the quality of my experiences changed. I became less reactive to, that's funny, reactive. I became less negatively reactive to things like, oh my God, I feel like dizzy, what's going to happen? And, dizziness, anxiety, they run on the same pathways. So it's, and also it stinks. So being anxious is completely understandable. But it also does not help, which is funny to hear me say. So once I got this sort of, I dampened the reactivity and was able to have more enjoyable experiences, then I started to regain functioning. So I remember there was one day in the program where I hadn't been in a store in like 5 months, no stores, just nothing. And I went to CVS and I was in there for 4 minutes and I'm pretty sure I looked like a crazy person because I had my sunglasses on, I had my weighted shawl on, and I was doing my breathing like this. Right. So I looked like a lunatic, but I didn't care because I was in there for 4 minutes and I came out and I did a little dance. And now I can go, I keep doing this, like this graded exposure. Now I can go into the grocery store for 21 minutes, which most people would be like, what can you get in 21 minutes? It turns out you can get most things in 21 minutes. And also going from 0 to 21 is a very large change.
It is.
Yeah, I wasn't driving. Now I can drive like 10 minutes each way. And go to the store in between. I wasn't dancing. I hadn't really danced in years, and now I'm dancing again, as evidenced by the videos I'm constantly sending you.
I love every single one.
It's sobering to see because it's after all this time. It's like, wow, but again, improvement. So, and I started, and Leanne's gonna laugh, Leanne, the yoga goddess. I started breathing. So on the first day, she's like, okay, we're gonna do deep breathing. You're familiar with diaphragmatic breathing. I'm like, I'm a therapist. Of course I know how to, also I'm a human, I know how to breathe. Not true. Maybe I knew how, but I had ceased to do it because that tension, that constant like focus of energy up here, being so vigilant of everything that happens, I had completely lost my mind-body connection. It's like, I was just not breathing. And I started breathing and my nervous system started going like this. And it's like, oh my God, all the pills people have thrown at me and all I had to do to just start this off is actually to breathe. I know that might sound really dumb, but one of the things I love about the program is that it took things that like made sense to me on paper and I had heard, but it was experiential. It made me do them. Somebody took me by the hand and said, here's the thing you do. Now's when you stop. Here's the next thing you do, right? And that's not the same as, trying to basically figure out on your own when to stop. I mean, Leanne made me sit down after every 2 minutes of activity. I did want to kill her a little bit. But that was it, because I would have kept going for like an hour and that would not have ended well. So she's like, now we sit, next time we'll do 3 minutes.
Yeah. That's so huge, Andrea. I feel like the same way, because even as a physical therapist, I go, of course, like I know how to exercise or I know how to breathe. There is nothing like somebody doing it with you and like guiding you in a pretty precise way. Like the 2 minute, it's not 2 minutes for everybody, but that's what
The first time I got on the bike when you saw me, it was 4 minutes, and Brittany was like, "Okay, your heart rate's way up, your HRV is down. Like now we stop." I'm like, "What do you mean now we stop? I haven't gotten any exercise." Like, yeah, because your body thinks exercise is a threat, so now we stop.
Wow. Yeah. I was thinking, I saw you on the bike, so you built some exercise and movement tolerance through that in a pretty precise way with monitoring physiologically, right?
Yeah. And they knew when to stop. I think a lot of times, at least for me, it's, well, push through and, do this thing and don't be scared of it and this and that. It's like, okay, if your body is not like understanding that, if your body is reacting poorly, you're only going to feel worse. Like I'd done vestibular therapy in the past, but like I had to drive there. So by the time I got there, I was sick. It's like so dumb.
Oh, yeah. Right. That is very common for people, actually.
Yeah. And 2 minutes might not be everyone's time, but they knew specifically, like, this is your time and this is what we're doing. It doesn't matter what you think you should do. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. This is your thing.
Yeah. That's great. Boy, I feel like you could lead the program here.
I talk about it a lot. People might think I'm looking for you, the degree to which I talk about it.
Well, and somebody actually asked here on the live, and again, you don't need to share. They were wondering what medications you were taking. And I know you specifically said one of the medications that they have prescribed for the 3PD was actually giving you some side effects, right?
Yeah, I don't mind sharing. So I have bipolar disorder, and the two sort of heavy hitting medications for bipolar disorder, lithium and Depakote, which is an anticonvulsant. A lot of psychiatric meds actually can have ocular side effects, but they're pretty rare to this severity. They're really rare. Actually, the doctor said, I've never seen this in real life, only in the literature. I'm like, well, that's great. Thanks. They cause these eye movements. I must have some sort of genetic thing lurking that makes me susceptible to that. But that was them. So a lot of psych meds do have that, but then they say, oh, side effects include dizziness, and you might not know that it's your eyes. If you think it might be your eyes, see a neuro ophthalmologist. First learn to spell ophthalmologist, then neuro ophthalmologist. And the last one that they gave me for PPPD was Effexor, which was its own problem, and it did help, but it didn't last. It was a Band-Aid at best, and it gave me convergence problems, so I wasn't able to focus up close. And it wasn't until I saw this brilliant neuro optometrist who did vision therapy, and she said, that can cause convergence problems. Like maybe that's why when you get to here, you want to throw up. Sure enough.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that too. Because that is known with a lot of those medications, vestibular visual side effects. And there is also a lot of
just because doesn't mean it's well known. So I've been very, very lucky with a lot of my healthcare providers. I've had the chance to see like some really, really top doctors, and I don't know that any of them knew. Like psychiatrist doctor, I don't think any of them knew.
Well, here we are spreading the word.
So don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. Like, hey, did you know this is a thing? And if they're a good doctor, they'll listen to you and they'll learn. Like I have an article on PPPD that I take to my doctors.
I mean, we hear it shouldn't have to be the case, right? It shouldn't have to be that you have to advocate for every single little thing. But we do hear from a lot of our clients, if they have a disorder that's not as well known, though we're trying to change that. They're bringing papers and booklets and things to educate people.
And doctors will usually listen, and especially in psych, PPPD used to kind of be classified as a conversion disorder, which is a different thing, but would be how a lot of current doctors were trained. So they would try and kind of line those up, and it's not the same. The treatment's not the same. The causes aren't the same. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's actually what I learned going out of school 20 years ago. So relearning all of the time. Now, this actually brings me to a question, because we have a lot of healthcare providers that watch our videos, and you've already shared many great little nuggets about 3PD, but is there any other messages that you want to tell other healthcare providers about 3PD or therapy for 3PD? What else can we learn from you?
Sure. I think for healthcare providers, I'm trained as a healthcare provider, so I get this medical model, but the diagnosis is not the endpoint, right? Even if you can't think of, hey, what's like the, prescribed usual traditional solution for this? If there's not one, the diagnosis does not mean your work is over. So the second part is that there is therapy, there are things you can do for it, right? So I've told my neurologist and a number of other doctors about the program, and they've taken down the information so that, they can use it in the future. But yeah, it's telling me I'm so tired of doctors telling me what's the matter. I want people to tell me what I can do about it. So that's what I started doing. And that would be my advice actually to other people who are dealing with this is stop chasing answers. Answers are great. Put that energy towards constructing solutions.
Yeah, that one just gave me chills, Andrea, because I think that is huge. And that's really part of, where you are on your journey too. I'm curious from the other standpoint. So for healthcare providers, and you've shared a lot for people, there are a lot of people like yourself who've had symptoms for a very long time. They're very discouraged that this can't get better. Now, obviously you're getting better. And so what might you share with somebody who is feeling discouraged, that they've tried a bunch of things and nothing's working?
Okay, first I would say that your feelings are incredibly valid. And I'm not going to discount them, because maybe we should do a video next time I have a bit of a breakdown. That'll be like the other half, right? Because it still happens. Those feelings are incredibly valid, and I think acknowledging that and not denying it is very freeing in some ways. So yeah, you're discouraged. Again, discouragement is not linear. The more discouraged you get, the more quickly you get discouraged, right? Because it's just one thing after another, and your brain and your body and everything learns that there are no options. However, just because it's valid doesn't mean it's correct. Okay. So I think a willingness and a belief, and that's something that the staff does amazingly, the belief that improvement, I'm not going to say total recovery, I'm going to say improvement. The belief that improvement is a possibility is the start of everything. Because every time I walked into the clinic, it was like, this place wouldn't be here if recovery of some sort weren't possible. And so I'm like, I'm never going to get better. Brittany would be like, okay, well, last week it was 4 minutes on the bike, and this week it's 10. So 10 minus 4 is 6. You're 6 better. Right? So I would say, yeah, it's hard to be discouraged, and being discouraged and anxious also takes a lot of energy, whether it's intentional or not. See if you can harness that energy into something, even if it's small, some small improvement, some small gain, like the 4 minutes that I spent in the store, and I was delighted because it was a change. Don't let the perfect where you want to be the enemy of the good where you actually could be if you got out of the bad, which is over here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm like writing that down. Don't let the perfect.
Wait, I didn't give you my signs yet.
Of the good. Oh my gosh. It's so good. Wait, you have a sign?
I have signs. Go ahead. Keep asking your questions. I have signs.
Oh, I want to see your sign. Actually.
Well, because I think a big important part is the team approach. First of all, I think you have to pass some kind of like endless positivity test to work in that. And it's not fake either. It's genuine. It's like, where is this coming from? But everybody offers something different, like really. So like I learned something different from each clinician, and they're probably working, so they won't see this. But so Leanne, who's the occupational therapist and the yoga goddess, as I call her, this is what I learned from Leanne. I don't know if you can see it on my screen off.
Oh, you must rest now, and that is okay. Also breathe.
Right, because rest. Why would I want to rest? I have so many things to do, and I have to stop later and throw up. So why do I want to rest now? You have to rest now so that later maybe you won't be throwing up. Okay, here's Brittany's.
Trust the process. You are making gains.
Right, because I was always like, I'm not getting better. I'm not getting better. I'm not getting better. You are getting better. You've just been in it for so long that you're too close to see what's happening. Right.
Yeah.
And I got one more.
Yes. Yes.
Dr. Matos, who's a rehab psychologist, which is a very cool specialty in psychology.
Stop fighting, resisting. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
So this fighting, resisting thing, I didn't want to say stop fighting, because in some ways chronic illness is a fight, right? Resisting is kind of qualitatively a little different in that you stop resisting. So for me, I was at the point where like my idea of what it would look like to be better or have a meaningful life was really set in one thing, right? And I was like resisting. No, I'm not going to have this illness. I'm going to overcome, and I'm going to do something, and I'm going to go to this point where I'm supposed to be, right? I would say stop resisting having a chronic illness. Like, I'm really sorry, it's a chronic illness. But if you live in that space where it rules your life and you're constantly resisting having it, you're going to expend all of your energy fighting having it. If you say, okay, I have this thing, come sit next to me and let's go do something, it's different, right? It's like if there's a monster in the car with you and you're constantly trying to push him out of the car, you're going to crash. If you just let him sit there and be like, whatever, you can keep driving.
Yeah. All of a sudden I was imagining Sully from Monsters, Inc. in your passenger seats as you
I don't think he'd fit in my car. Yeah, I know that might sound super cliche and dumb and like, oh, this woman does not understand how much I'm suffering. Oh, I do. I really, really do. And it's awful. But if you can find one place to start and find one small gain. So I have this friend who has PPPD, and he's a musician. He's a brilliant musician. He says when he plays, he gets really dizzy from the piano. I said, okay, can you play like a little? And he said, maybe like 3 minutes. And I was like, or maybe he said 5. And I said, okay, play for 3 minutes. I did a Leanne. I said, play for 3 minutes and then stop and breathe and go outside. And then he's like, hey, I played for 3 minutes and I had so much fun. It's like, great. So you didn't let the inability to play for an hour prevent you from having fun for 3 minutes. And who knows, now it'll be like 5 and 10, whatever, right?
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. You're like passing it on there. I think that's so amazing. You shared a lot about kind of those like messages and things that you've learned that really have empowered you, and you're continuing on. I mean, I know because you send videos of the next thing that you're doing, and so it doesn't end at 6 weeks, right?
No, it's actually just that's just the beginning.
Yeah. What do you what are you doing now, and what's kind of next? What do you see on the horizon?
So what I'm doing now is continuing to try and improve, right? So I am lucky enough that right now I have that time. I took, leave, and I can, still feed myself. So I don't want people to be like, I don't have time to rest and recover. Okay, but if you don't, you're gonna get so bad that it's gonna be really, really hard. So even if it's tiny, tiny amounts of rest and recover and graded exposure, like do that. So what I'm doing is, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'll tell you that. And that's a really, monumental thing for me to be able to say, because I have to see how this goes. The plan that I was pursuing and the way I was pursuing it was not sustainable. So now I spend a lot of time in this room. Want to see my room?
Yes.
I call it my happy place. That's my anti-stress meditation beanbag. That's one of about 10 yoga mats that I've purchased. Those are my point shoes and my balancing Bosu ball thing. Oh, hey, that's my certificate from Re+active.
Yay.
So I spend a lot of time in here. I will go, I'll plan my day. I'll drive for 10 minutes. I will go in the store for 20 minutes. I'll come home and then I rest. But it's in that way that I've been able to make gains. And I wish I had it. I keep a calendar and every day I'll write after every activity how I feel, like from 1 to 10, right? And that way I'll see, first of all, I'll see patterns. And second of all, I won't constantly get caught up in the everything's bad all of the time. It's like, actually, no, things were bad and then they were not bad. And then they were okay. And then, right? And then I can also see really specific progress, which is very rewarding.
Yeah.
And I can keep growing that. Like first it was 5 minutes driving and 5 minutes in the store. Now it's like 10, 20, 10, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. And at least in the videos that I'm seeing, I'm always impressed because for most folks, spinning and dancing is dizzy making anyway. And I've seen some, I mean, you've got your point shoes back on and you're dancing and spinning. It's not always perfect, right?
no, and you can see in the videos, especially the further back you go, that I don't move my head. And I noticed that when I was there, that when I'm dancing, I'll be like, okay, I'm dancing, and I'll be so careful not to move my head. So you see by like the last video, I'm moving my head.
Yes.
But yeah, it's, the body's smart. It doesn't want to fall.
Right. It sure doesn't. It's going to protect you.
Right? So, but it's sometimes like an overbearing mother. It's a little overprotective.
That is a really good way to, it's our brain being the overbearing mother, helicopter.
Oh God, I hope my mother's not watching this.
protecting you. Yes. Yeah. So that to me is really like exciting to hear, day by day, little pieces by little pieces of progress. And yeah, and that it continues. I do want to get to one other question somebody asked was, I think the neuro-ophthalmologist, they were curious who you saw in LA for neuro.
So I saw two. The one who diagnosed my ocular movement problems was Dr. Sadoun at the Doheny Eye Center. It's part of UCLA. And he actually has a resident as well, who I think is starting to take over. He's super cool. And the one who diagnosed this visual vestibular mismatch, who was really awesome and able to work with me to get like this, where is it? I have this vagus nerve, there it is, stimulator thing, which is basically, it's for migraines, but they use it for PPPD and helps you relax your system. He wrote to the team in Germany to get me one. That was Dr. Vivek Patel. He was at USC and now he's at UC Irvine. So you need a referral to UC Irvine, but like your GP can write one.
Okay. And Dr. Vivek Patel, UC Irvine. And what was the name of the other doctor at Doheny Eye Center? Dr.
Alfredo Sadoun, Sadun. So he's really, really about eye stuff. I think more people have PPPD due to eye stuff than they realize.
Yeah. And
the eye stuff, he's the one who made like the 1 in a million diagnoses of what was happening with my eyes from the meds.
Okay. Yeah. And those are some of the big referrals that we make too, is to neuro-ophthalmology and neuro-optometry, because
vision therapy. There's a wonderful vision therapist in downtown LA at Eyes on the Block. Her name's Dr. McMahon. And there's a wonderful, wonderful place in Pasadena, Dr. Derek Tong, and they have a whole team for vision therapy.
Okay. I'm putting these in the comments here too.
Yeah, let me bring out my Rolodex of like a million.
I know. Just because I think these are some of the missing pieces for people, and we're often evaluating people and then making those recommendations too, because we kind of do the integrative part of the sensory, the vestibular, the visual, but we're not vision therapists. We don't have that as part of reactive, and it's something that takes a pretty concentrated, like you said, you went to vision therapy today. It's really hard.
Yeah, really, yeah. And honestly, I told Dr. Sadoun and I told the vision therapists about reactive, and they were like, that's an amazing plan. Tell me about this place. That's a thing you should do.
Well, I am so glad that you did. We've been working with people with 3PD for a long time, but I think you were the first that had a dizzy camp, and put all of the pieces together at one time, and I think that was just right for you. And I'm excited to keep hearing more about what you're doing and learning, and particularly in your professional journey too, because you're such an advocate, and I've loved how you've articulated all of this for other people too. Even your signs, I was writing them all down. I was like, I'm going to share these signs with people. We'll share this video with people, of course, but I'm just so thankful for you, Andrea.
I'm so thankful for you guys. I know it sounds super cheesy, but it was life-changing. Not in the way that I expected, but that was honestly, that was the change that I needed. I needed to basically realize that there are limits and how to live well within those limits.
Huge. So huge. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for joining me here too on our Facebook today. I'm going to share this video far and wide because I think there's so much to learn from you. So thank you again
so much. Send my love to the team.
I will. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.